How many times as a Newcastle fan can you remember going to the table toppers excited as hell? Well, I am, and it's the Arsenal match preview, so stick around. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, Newcastle fans. If you are new to Black and White Banter, you've just stumbled across us for the very first time, please drop down, give us one of them. Even if you're not new to this channel, give us a little like. It goes a very, very long way and it only takes you a second. And if you do like my opinion by the end of this video, you like my voice, you like what I've got to say, whack that subscribe because there'll be away day vlogs, transfer news, all the Newcastle related stuff coming thick and fast, and you'll be notified when that goes on. And get us across all social media. Content on Black and White Banter every single day. So yes, it's the transfer window, which I think seems to be the vocal point at the moment in the early days, as we are already linked to 1 million players, Spanish right-backs, Leicester midfielders, bloody Ronaldo, I'm not even going to touch on that. But there is a game to be played, and a very, very big game. We go to Arsenal, the table toppers this season. Top of the league against third in the league, and who would have thought that at the start of the season? It's absolutely mad. And I tell you what, as I said at the start of this video, I didn't think I'd see the day that I would be looking forward so much to going to the team that's top of the league away from home. Just excited. I honestly think that game at the Emirates on Tuesday night is going to be an absolutely cracking game of football. I know sometimes the games that you're expecting to be really good can be a bit of a letdown, can go the opposite way, sort of like your 0-0s and not really much goal mouth action. I think Arsenal are very much a team that plays with an identity. I think Arteta's created that now, and Eddie Howe talked about how they have a very set identity and how they like to go about their business in the pre-match press conference. And I think we are starting to get that identity under Eddie Howe now with the same intensity. And I think Eddie Howe is the sort of manager, when you're playing against a team that has a very specific style, doesn't change that style too much no matter what game they play in, like Arsenal from what I've watched this season. That makes it a little bit easier in a way for Eddie Howe to get obsessed with how to play against them. You're not expecting too much of a change in formation. You're not expecting things to be mixed up from the opposition too much. And we all know Eddie Howe is an obsessive manager. And yes, he's always going to say he's got his eye on the next game with regards to Leeds and the game at Boxing on Leicester, on the game against Leicester on Boxing Day. But I honestly believe Eddie Howe has had this game in the back of his mind for a while, because let's face it, it's the biggest, most difficult challenge of the season. And the reason I go there with no fear is because firstly, our defence, like for me, this game is all about giving them a good go. And also, in terms of Trippier, Botman, Burn and Share and Pope basically saying, come on, let's see what you've got. Let's see how you do against these boys. Let's see how you do against the brick shithouse of Botman, the brick shithouse of Dan Burn, the brick shithouse of Fabian Share. And then just, well, I can't leave him out, can I? The brick shithouse of Kieran Trippier as well. Not so much of a shithouse, but... And that defensive record that we have is the best in the league, and I wouldn't swap our defence as a full unit for many in the whole of the Premier League at the moment, and that's another reason I'm really looking forward. And Arsenal are not going to be looking forward to coming up against us. It's a really tough test for them. And yes, of course, Arsenal are favourites going into this game. You look at their team, Martinelli, I think he's going to be a big danger against Trippier, because as much as I love the man, you know, he's almost the complete footballer as a right back. The only thing he's maybe lacking now is pace. Martinelli might be able to exploit that, and you look at Martinelli's assist record, his goal record so far this season, he's a fantastic player. Saka on the other side, if he's coming up against Dan Burn, you kind of get a bit concerned about that just because of Dan Burn's change of direction and change of pace. He can make those last ditch tackles against pacey players because of his height. He's very good at getting that stretching foot in. It comes with being a Geordie giant. But it's still a bit of a concern, each wing for me. I'm not as worried about central midfield areas. I think Bruno can just do what Bruno does, and Arsenal will have to be very, very worried about him rather than the other way around. Sean Longstaff, we know what ground he covers. His role against a team like Arsenal is going to be so important. You know, he's had his critics. Yes, he missed chances against Leeds. And then I really hope and pray that Callum Wilson's fit. We don't know anything about him not being fit. Obviously, he wasn't in the starting lineup against Leeds. I don't want to see Chris Wood in the team against a team like Arsenal. I want to see balls over the top. Now, there's been a big argument for St. Maximin coming in against Arsenal. For me, it's no chance in hell. If Dan Burn is going to be having the hard game I expect him to against Saka, he needs all the help he can get defensively. And for me, Alan St. Maximin just doesn't give us that. Yes, I would want to see Maximin come off the bench as he did against Leeds in maybe the 60th minute as a very, very big impact sub in a game he's going to want to impress. Sky cameras, top of the table. You know, it's kind of made for a player like Maximin to shine, but I don't want to see him in from the start. Do you go with Joe Linton on the left? You know, he got into good areas against Leeds, but he's not a natural winger. And I think in that forward position, when you maybe want that player with loads of space on the left-hand side to take a man on, it kind of let him down a little bit on Saturday. I would want to see Joe Linton in the centre. I would maybe go Joe Willock, who, by the way, is going to want to prove something to these lot. You know, he's played against them already for us, but it's a player playing against his old club. And, you know, he's got all the Arsenal fans, probably he's got family in the crowd. He's come through their academy and whatnot. He's going to want to put on a show. And Joe Willock basically wants to say, you shouldn't have let us go. Look what I'm a part of now. And I'm all for that. I think Joe Willock's running. His attacking intent can be really important in what we do. So I would probably go Joe Willock on the left. He's going to graft these bollocks off. That's the Eddie Howe way. Let's just see what we can do. They are going to be just as worried about Newcastle United as what we are about them. And let's face it, Arsenal are a team who aren't really slipping up. I thought that their win at Brighton on Saturday was very impressive to go there and win as convincingly as they did. But every team drops points. And if there was a match set up for Arsenal to finally drop a couple of points in this title race, it would be against the best defence in the league. And that maybe sounds biased, but that's just a fact. We have got the best defence at the moment in the league. And that guy, Sven Botman, is an absolute revelation. And Nketiah, who I hadn't even mentioned, I don't worry about Nketiah. I don't. I think Fabian Schär, touch wood, because I don't like to jinx myself too much, they can literally have Nketiah in their back pocket. Striking department's not really what I'm worried about. I think Gabriel Jesus not being in the team, I think it's benefiting everyone that plays Arsenal, and we're no different tomorrow night. Let's just see what we can do. I mean, where do I think this game will be won and lost? I think those wide areas that I talked about with Martinelli and Saka on either side, and what we can do with Almiron, because he's hurting teams week after week, and also how we deal with that left-hand side, it depending on who Eddie Howe decides to play over there. That's going to be a key area for me. And I think that central area, we really need Bruno to do a Bruno and really turn the magic on. Like what we saw in glimpses at Leicester when we won 3-0 in that first half. Just really putting on the style, because Arsenal are still a team who are going to leave space. And I think the first 20 minutes of the game, if I'm being totally honest, are really, really important. We're a possession team now, that high intensity composure on the ball, which is always amazing to see. But I think to go a place like Arsenal, where they are in the league, it's very important for us to stifle the crowd. The atmosphere is not great. Just tone them down a little bit, make them aware they're in a game, really get on the front foot, cause them a couple of problems early on, and maybe push them back a couple of yards. I think in big away games against the bigger sides, the first 20 minutes of the match can go a long way to dictating how the pace of that game is going to go from then onwards. And we are a team that start well. We are a team that where those energy levels and those work rate levels have just got better and better and better under Eddie Howe. And that's why, again, I'm looking forward to going down there tomorrow night. I am lucky enough to be going. I'll be on the bus tomorrow down there, so I will be documenting that on an away day vlog. So please whack that subscribe if you haven't already, because you will see me going down, hopefully with some celebratory content, speaking to some fans afterwards. So please do that. But yeah, I keep talking. I don't care whether I sound like a stuck record about enjoying the ride. Us going to the title toppers in Arsenal and not fearing it, not dreading a 5-0, actually going down with a bit of hope with the best defence in the league, and I'll say that again, I don't care how many times I say that on this video, is amazing. And it's that roller coaster that I don't want to get off, that is currently supporting Newcastle, is just another dip, because we could go there tomorrow. Arsenal are due to drop some points, and what better team for that? What more likely team, should I say, than for that to happen against the Newcastle, who are flying at the moment and have lost one game all season. So I'm going to go for a draw. I'm not going to go for a loss. I'm going to stay pretty optimistic, but I'm not necessarily going to back us to go down Arsenal and win. I'm going to go for a draw. Probably it's a score draw. I don't fancy this to be a 0-0, and I'd be absolutely delighted with a point. But as always, Newcastle fans, please let us know in the comments what you think the score is going to be. Can we go there and really upset the title leaders at the moment in Arsenal? I want to know. Hopefully there's some other optimistic Newcastle fans out there. Surely there should be. And if you've stuck around this long, Newcastle fans, please whack that subscribe if you're not already subscribing to Black and White Banter. Get us across all Facebook and whack that little like button. It goes a very long way. Now, I'm going to bed because I've got to get up for that coach tomorrow. Long old trip down to Arsenal. It's not just round the corner for us, that one. And the away day vlog will be coming. So stick around for that video. Hopefully I'll be celebrating long into the night tomorrow night and you'll see my face with a beaming smile on it as I speak to fans outside the Emirates. I'll see you on the next video, Newcastle fans. Away the lads.